What's up guys, it's Meg, and it's that time of the week again for our weekly walker talk, helping ease your walker withdrawals 1 week at a time. How's it going this week, guys? Today our topic is a few predictions for the second half of The Walking Dead Season 5. I just have a few predictions for you that I wanted to kind of put out there and see what you guys think, and we can have a little discussion down in the comments about what your guys' predictions are for the second half of Season 5. Fair warning to you guys, I do not like official spoilers. I am not one of those kinds of Walking Dead YouTubers. I don't want to hear any spoilers. I don't want you guys to post any official spoilers down in the comments below. This is discussion and theories only. If you know anything about potential filming or actors coming in or anything like that, I would appreciate you guys putting a big spoiler warning in the comments so that everyone has a fair chance to look away before you post. And I will not be looking at anything that contains major spoilers. So to get right to it, I will be talking a tiny bit about the comic books, but I will warn you guys before I say anything spoilery from there. So this should be a pretty good video for those of you who don't necessarily like knowing spoilers, but like to kind of talk about what you think is going to happen and predict things without actually knowing things. I don't know how some people make prediction videos when they know all of the spoilers ahead of time. Like, that seems so silly, but to each his own. So I wanted to get right to it. I think we're probably going to see a couple sneak peeks or at least one more big promo coming up here fairly soon. So I'll probably be doing another predictions video once that comes out. I'll try to do a live reaction if I don't see it beforehand for the promo, and also kind of break it down for you guys and tell you what I think is going to happen, just like we did for the beginning of Season 5. To get right to it, we've seen, like I said, I think there's been 2 short promos. I watched one that was in English, which I think is the only official one we've seen here in America, and then there was one that was in Spanish, so I don't know what they say, but there were a couple clips in there that we hadn't seen before. So to get right to it, we see Beth's funeral. We see them standing with Father Gabriel under this really beautiful, like, willow trees. I think that's what they're called, something like that, where it looks like they're burying her in a really nice place. I think it's really great that they are able to have a funeral for her, but I think it's going to have, just like her death, all of this is going to have a profound effect on the group and how everyone carries themselves and how everyone acts. I think it's a really beautiful thing that we have Father Gabriel there. The last time we saw really a legit funeral, I think, was at the farm for Sophia and the Green family members that were walkers in the barn that they put down. And we saw Herschel leading that funeral, and I think it's a really sad day to see them put Beth to rest, and to see Father Gabriel giving whatever kind of speech, sermon, memoriam that he's going to be saying for Beth. As far as Maggie goes, I think she's probably going to be the worst affected by Beth's death, obviously, because she was her sister, her last living relative, and it kind of breaks... My dog is breathing really heavy right now. What was I saying? Maggie, the effect we're going to see of Beth's death on Maggie is going to be huge. Comic book warning for you, real fast. You can just skip ahead a minute or so, and we should be fine. In the comic books, there was a point where we see Maggie. She is so devastated by the loss of her family from the farm and everything that she's just in a really awful, depressed state. We see her wander out to the woods and try and hang herself to kill herself ultimately. And I never thought, seeing how the seasons have progressed, seeing how Season 2 has come and gone, and not really ever seeing Maggie get to that point, I really didn't think that we were going to see that happen in the TV show. I really thought that, you know, seeing how she wasn't really that torn up over Beth going missing, she didn't really try and search for her that much, I wasn't sure that it was going to affect her as much as it apparently is going to. But seeing her reaction to Daryl carrying Beth out of the hospital was truly devastating for both the audience, us, and for Maggie seeing that. So that leads me to believe, based on the promo and seeing Maggie kind of outside of the truck, and she's sitting at a small smoking campfire, and she just looks broken. I mean, I've never seen her look so sad before. She lost family at the farm, and she lost her dad, but she didn't really have time to grieve for her father very much because she was on this mission to find Glenn, and then Terminus happened, you know, and everything has happened so quickly that they haven't really had time to stop and relax and take in what has happened to them since the prison. So now we see they're burying Beth, and they have this moment to stop and reevaluate where they're going, what they're going to do, and Maggie finally has a chance to grieve. And I think that when we see her crying there on the ground, I feel like I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, but when we see her crying there on the ground, she's not just grieving for Beth, she's grieving for everything that she's lost since all of this started. The farm, Herschel, you know, her mother, her brothers, Patricia, you know, Otis, like everyone that she's lost, and you know, and Beth, and everyone, you know, Bob, everyone that she's lost at the prison. I think we really see how deeply it has affected her right then and there. And I think whether or not we see it in the first episode, I know that we will for sure see her attempt to commit some sort of suicide during the second half of season 5. I'm sure of it. I'm sure they're going this way. And like I said, it's been such a long, you know, few seasons where she seems like such a strong character, and she now is to a point where she just seems broken. And I think this just makes so much sense. It was such a big turning point for Maggie in the comics that I think we have to see it on TV. I think we honestly, I think we do. Next, we hear Michonne saying to Rick, I guess, I'm guessing, because it seems like she's trying to reason with someone, and she's saying they need a place where they can be safe instead of just being out here, instead of just making it. So what I think is going to happen, at least in the first few episodes, the group is kind of like, you know, they need a plan. They don't know where they're going. They can't go to Washington. Well, they could, but they're not going to Washington, D.C. anymore because there's no cure. And they've just lost another family member, and they just need a place to be. And we have Noah, and from what we know about Noah is that he came from a place in Virginia where they had a wall, and his family was there, and they had a wall, and it was protected, and you know, and then he was they went out and he was taken, and he wants to get back to his family where he was. You know, he wants to find his family again. And we heard about his uncle, who we're tentatively thinking maybe Morgan. We're not sure. Morgan's obviously out there following the map. So we don't know how he's going to come across Rick's group, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So we have Noah, who wants to get back and find his family. He has a gated community, not a gated community, but a walled community. And in the promos, we see them opening what looks like, just like at the prison, you know, the gates that block out the walkers. And we see them opening it, and we see a bunch of walkers come out at them. And I think that this is the walled community that Noah came from. And I don't think that it's the Alexandria safe zone, although I do think that we will see that based on a few potential spoilers that, you know, we've heard about filming. I've tried to stay away from it, but sometimes it's hard to not hear these words pop up. And so, according to some set stuff, it seems like towards, at least by the end of the second half, they will reach Alexandria, I'm guessing. But as far as at first when Noah mentioned the walled community, you know, they had a wall, it was a safe place, I thought, well, he came from Alexandria. But right now, I don't think so. I think that he has come from this walled community, and he wants to go back there. I think that they get there and they open the wall and they find all of the walkers in there, and that, you know, his community is no more. Anybody who's there is gone or dead, turned into a walker, what have you. And we see in the Spanish promo a clip of Tyrese opening kind of a door or standing in a doorway, and Noah's in the background kind of just looking, and they're both looking at something. And I think that this is Noah's house where he was staying, whether or not it was his original house or where his family was staying in the meantime. I think that Noah goes back to his house and sees that his family is gone or dead or something, and either, you know, they decide to maybe stay there, or Michonne is, you know, I'm getting ahead of myself. I think that when Michonne is talking, you know, doing the voiceover of the clip, and she's saying we need a place, a safe place, a place where we can be safe instead of just being out here, instead of just making it. I think she's trying to convince Rick to follow Noah to Noah's community and to see if, you know, they're still there, to see if it's safe. I think they make it there. Whether or not Maggie along the way tries to commit suicide or not, you know, whether or not that happens before or after, like, we're just not sure kind of the time frame here. I think we're going to see, comic spoiler, I think we're going to see a couple actors from the Alexandria Safe Zone potentially following Rick's group. And Daryl may, there was a clip there where we see Daryl bending down and kind of looking at the ground. Maybe he's tracking, maybe he thinks somebody's tracking him again. I think that we're going to see someone from that community tracking Rick's group and potentially surveying them to see if they're good candidates to bring back to Alexandria. So either that's going to be happening when they're at Noah's place, or maybe they decide to leave, or they get some sort of clue of where Noah's family is and they, you know, they go and try and find him, something like that. I think we're definitely going to see movement from the group. I don't know that they're going to try and stay at Noah's community, but I definitely think that that's what the wall was, the first wall that we see. Spoiler, I saw there was a place in the comic books called Wilshire, something like that, Wilshire Estates, and it was kind of a gated community there. And they originally put in season, what season was it? Was it season 3? No, I don't even know now. This is making me look like a bad Walking Dead fan. But they did it wrong in the TV show originally. And so we thought, well, they had their chance and they messed it up, so whatever, we'll never see it again. But I saw a filming picture, spoiler picture, back at the beginning when I was trying not to look, but kind of looking. And there's a fine line there. And I saw a sign that said Shirewilt, so like Wilshire backwards. And I think that that is the walled community that Noah has come from. So it'll be interesting to see if they are actually trying to do that again from the comics. It seems fairly obvious that they are. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think of my predictions? It's just a few. I think we're definitely going to see a lot of emotion from the group trying to recover from losing yet another family member. And I really think that Noah is going to take them back to his old community, and they're going to discover that everyone's gone. It's going to be really devastating for Noah to not be able to find anyone, or he's going to find, you know, his family as walkers. Ugh, I don't know. Either way, I think it's going to be pretty awful. And I think it's going to be a very emotional season. As far as deaths go, I can't imagine we'll see any deaths right away, but probably, you know, either midway through or towards the end. I feel like the last episode is going to be, maybe they're arriving at the Alexandria Safe Zone, or I think it's going to potentially not end necessarily on a cliffhanger, but maybe end on a better note than some of the seasons have ended. You know, when season 4 ended, we had this huge cliffhanger. And I don't think that season 5 is going to really end on a cliffhanger. I see it ending maybe where we think the group is doing okay, and then they're really not, you know, by the time we get to the next season. I'm not sure. We might see a glimpse of some new villain towards the end, but I think these last 8 episodes are really going to be them moving forward, trying to find a place to be, trying to find their way, grieving, lots of action, hopefully not too many character deaths. If you've heard anything, don't tell me. I don't want to know. What are your guys' predictions for the second half of season 5? Leave them in the comments below. Like I said, no spoilers, please. And we can discuss. And then once the new promo teaser trailer comes out, I will do kind of a more walkthrough of what I think is going to happen based on that. So that's it for this week's weekly Walker Talk. Let me know what you guys think of this video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, come and join me on Facebook at facebook.com/weeklywalkertalk. We can have more discussions there. I love you guys. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next time. Bye. Fair warning to all. Jeez. big semi truck going by. But I promise that I will give you guys a warning before I say anything. And I have to say, oh my gosh.